In order to increase the support skill sockets you can have on your ability, you're going to need these jeweler orbs. Now, these are exceptionally rare. I've only ever seen one perfect jeweler orb, and as soon as I got it, I pretty much slammed it immediately.
I think I got 2 so far. Yeah, I think I got 2 so far. I put one on the arsonist skeletons, and then one on the what are they called? Little flame head dudes. Um, raging spirits. I've only gotten 2 so far. I need the middle one though. It gives you like the force slot. That's what I need. That's what I'm lacking on.
Onto the ability I was using, Sunder. You want to be careful and make sure that when you're getting the greater and the perfects that you are committed to the ability that you're doing, and you don't want to level another character or something like that, because these are extremely expensive and also extremely rare. One perfect jeweler orb is 170 exalts at the moment. There is another way to get +1 skill socket. Not only can these Val orbs corrupt items in order to give you bonus implicits like the mana regen, or potentially a third socket on things like weapons or additional sockets on chest plates, etc., but they can also be used on skill gems. So let's say I have some skill gems here, and these are 3 sockets. Well, if I use a Val orb on it, it will corrupt it and occasionally actually add an additional socket. Now, this is corrupted, so I can't modify it further. Keep in mind, corruption can only be done once, and you cannot further modify the item, though you can still level it. So if you look at this, you can get like things like +1 level from corruption. You can also get -1 level from corruption. It only has 2 sockets, but I cannot make it a third socket because target is corrupted. So this is sort of a Hail Mary last case scenario.
I did not know that. Wow. Huh. I have to try that out then. Let's make a whole bunch. I need gem cutter prisms though. I want to at least try and get the quality up on them, and then hit it with a vol orb. Um, you can increase like the level, and then if it lets you increase the quality of it too, that would be super nice.
However, just to prove to you this can still be done, I will corrupt this. Look, it only has 1 socket now. I will equip this item, and then I will show you can still upgrade the skill gems. So you can do this as a gamble to go from like 4 to 5. It might make it a 3 again, but it's one such way in order to be able to bonus out your gem. You can even get the +1 level like I was stating earlier. So that's just something I wish I knew a little earlier. And obviously, as for quality, you cannot further modify it with quality. Here's the corrupted one in there. I hit it, cannot be quality as well. So make sure that if you're really trying to gamble to make it like the ultimate gem, you got to the highest level you can get it, it's 4 out of 5 maybe, or it's already 5 out of 5, you just want to try to get the +1 level. Make sure you're doing your quality too. You know, if you're trying to fully max out the gem, you got to do everything beforehand, just like you would do with a piece of gear before valuing it as well. When you go to do your trials, make sure you are using relics that say honor percentage resistance, see +11 honor resistance. This can be capped at 75% and does exactly what it does with things like fire and lightning resistance. It straight up reduces the damage taken to honor. So you can get a 75% damage reduction honor. This significantly improves your survivability in the Sanctum when you go to do your trials because of
I'll have to keep that in mind then, because I really don't plan on doing trials anytime soon, because ascendancy sucks. I don't like my ascendancy. It's terrible. There's nothing I want to grab on it. If I do grab anything, I have to build into it, because I'm already having a hard time in the game so far, and I don't have the gear to build into it. There's no point in grabbing it, so I'm just kind of stuck. I can't grab my ascendancies without fucking my character up.
this and the changes to Sanctum recently, it's not as bad anymore. If you have items that are unidentified, you can shift click on an identifier like the hooded one, for instance, or Doriani, and it will automatically identify all of the items that are in your inventory. If you're playing a Titan and you have this extra inventory expansion, for some reason it doesn't identify items in here. This is bugged. Shift clicking items out of this and all of this is bugged. When you're going through the campaign, you really want to make sure you're doing all of these extra little skulls. People ask me constantly how you get 100 spirit. You get 100 spirit through Act 1 by doing the King of the Mist. You find that from the hunting grounds right here. You go to do the ritual altar. Then in Act 3, in the bog, you go to the bog witch here. This is not a mandatory quest in the campaign, so you might have missed it. You get 30 more spirit there. However, when you go do the cruel campaign, you actually don't have to do the ritual altar again. Normally, you repeat these same things for the same resistances, etc. However, in Act 3, you just do the witch again, and the witch will now give you 40 spirits. So once you've done the witch and you've done the ritual altar as well as the witch in the previous campaign, that's all you have to do. So there's 3 side bosses you have to kill total. There is also a total of 24 bonus skill points that you can get through the campaign. So if you click here and you go to your passive tree and you see your weapon set, it says 22 or 20 or something, you are missing bonus.
Oh, so that's how you check it. I guess I need to go and check that and make sure I've got all my skill points. I swear if I'm like 2 points off, I'm gonna be like, where the hell did I go?
Skill points you can get from the campaign. So go back, look, and make sure you've done all of your side quests, as you should have a total number of 24. These are massively important because every skill point is basically another level, and when you get higher level, like, it takes a really long time to level. I'm only level 90 and I've been no-lifing.
Level 90 no life, and I mean casually playing I'm level 78 and still getting wrecked in like tier 1 maps. Like unmodified tier 1 maps.
Another important stat that I kind of wish wasn't so important is rarity of items. So if you look, like, I got like 9% rarity of item, 9% rarity of item, 8% rarity of item. I don't have that much rarity of item. If you're getting later game into the in-game maps and you're not really getting mini drops, see if you can try to slot in some like rarity of item, or maybe one of the charms that gives you like 20% when you kill a rare, etc. This actually massively changes the impact of the currency loot you're going to be acquiring. I actually have a feeling this is going to get retuned going into the new year. I don't know if rarity's in the state they want it to be. As it stands, it is massively impactful. I also wish I had hold alt and look at all of the skill gems I'm using in order to quality them, to know which ones I should be qualitating. Some of these are actually massively important. If you look at this, chance to cause an aftershock, 30% bonus chance to cause an aftershock. That's actually like very important. That's just straight up more damage. Couple of tips here for in-game. I used my corruption orbs way too early. I really started running out of them recently because I need to corrupt like tier 15 maps, because the only way to get a tier 16 map is to corrupt. And when you corrupt an item, it can go up and down in tiers. So this one stayed tier 14, but it could have become a tier 13 or gone up to a tier 15. Well, tier 16 maps actually just straight up don't drop. You have to get a tier 15 map, then corrupt, and hope it goes to tier 16. The reason this is important is because it raises the overall level of the area. Some of these areas have like these little red things here, and that makes the area +1 level, and some of them are irradiated, which means it's another +1 level. So you want to try to find an area that is both irradiated as like this one, and also the red, to give it +2 level. Then you put the 16 in it to basically be able to pseudo run like a tier 18 map. Okay, that's the only way to get like the ultra high level ones. But you also need to do this with a boss. So it needs to have a boss, it needs to be irradiated, and have the red icon on a tier 16. This is very hard to like find these niche maps, and you only get one attempt at it. The best way to do this is in these towers, you're actually going to use the tablets that irradiate the tower in order to give it the +1 level. Well, the irradiation and placement of the towers, when you put in the tablets, are kind of random in an area, say like 9 breaches or something in the map. So what you can do, and it's super annoying, it's a bit of a chore, but you can technically do this if it's really an important map you can't miss, is you can go around and complete all the maps that don't have the maps that you want to be targeted. Then you can put a tablet into the tower, and it's not going to hit completed maps. You can reduce all of the maps. You do all of the maps.
That's interesting. But like, what is the point of doing like the high level stuff though? Like, exactly what are you getting in those? Like, I'm not sure what the benefit of doing the higher level stuff is yet. As you have to kind of explain that. At least the game's not really explaining it very well.
Around it until only like the 5 maps left that are guaranteed left will then be irradiated, and that's one way to be able to specifically target which maps are going to be done on the tablet. Now, the reason I'm explaining all of this, and you might have to run this back in order to understand it if you're not to that part of the game yet, is because you literally have to run higher level maps in order to earn more points. So you get at level 79 map, you gain points, then 80, 81, then 82. And so you have to start with like a tier 16 map, then a tier 16 plus 1, then a tier 16 plus 2. And you kind of need to know these tools in your disposal in order to be able to more easily find one of these maps. And it might take you multiple attempts because you die and it's over. There is one additional important note. If I'm in
Yeah, it's probably gonna take me, I don't know, about 3 or 4 months to get to like where he's at, because I ain't getting shit to drop for my ass. I ain't getting nothing, man. It's difficult to try and find the gear that I need. It just I not getting anything. I'm not getting anything to drop or anything crafted better than what I got, and I doubt I'm gonna have the money to pay for anything that someone else has got, because it's like very specific stuff that I need, like very specific. I ain't trying to lose defense and offense to get like a little bit of res, or lose res to get a little bit of offense. Like, I'm trying to get everything collected together and built up, but it ain't working at all for me.
a map and I die, okay, someone who's in my party that goes into the map, they can finish the map. So if you happen to be in the party and you die, don't just like resurrect or something. You can sit there and wait for the map completion and it will count for you. So if you have a map that's like super important, you can basically go into the map with a friend to guarantee that you can get the kill. If you die, don't worry about it. Just sit there and wait. The map will be completed for you. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get the experience, the loot. It doesn't really help you in any way other than guaranteeing that map completion if it's like a map you really cannot afford to lose. In base campaign act 3, you're going to want to do the Molten Vault. That's because this is going to give you access to the reforging bench. Now, the reforging bench is actually pretty important. Let's say you have 3 items, like you like the base item, like you like prismatic rings. You don't like the rose on really any of these, however. You think they're all right, but maybe kind of mid. So you can go to the reforge bench, you can put 3 of these in, and it'll reforge 3 items into 1, and now you have another chance at a rose. So you can go here, you can identify your item, and what do we get? We got Activating Chaos. Maybe this isn't so great, but it gives you another chance. You can also use this in order to crunch maps up. Let's say I ran out of maps and what I really need is some more maps. Well, maybe I'm in tier 2s, for instance, so I can buy a whole bunch of tier 1s. I can go with the Reforge bench. I can crunch 3 1s into a 2 or 3 2s into a 3, etc. So this is another way to help you with map sustain.
Oh, I did not know that either. I didn't know you can just combine them and make them go up a level. Okay, that's interesting.
The vendors in the campaign reset with every level. So if you go and you don't really see any items, you think, oh, these are all like kind of garbage items. Come back once you've leveled and try again. All of the vendors reset every level, and you can find some very good items in here. Or again, if you find 3 of the bases that you like, but the items themselves aren't good, maybe like hammers, and so you can buy multiple of the oak hammers, then you can forge them in the forging bench and get another roll at it. One of the other things I've seen confuse people is they ask about the weapon skill points. So like, look, I have 24 of these. Why can't I spend these? I don't understand. And that's because you can only spend weapon skill points when you have skill points available. Let me explain what I mean. So if you know this, before I didn't have any skill points. If I refund 4, now I have 4 skill points available. Now if I go to spend these, it's just going to spend like a normal skill point, not a weapon skill point. If I click on this, now it's spending the same skill point, but it's doing it for weapon skill 1, and I could choose to go here, for instance. Then I could click for weapon skill 2 and go here, for instance. Now what this actually means for me, if I apply these real quick, is when I swap weapons by hitting the X button here and swapping my weapon sets, it's actually swapping which set of these skill points I'm using. So weapon skill points are a
I probably need to go back and check that as well to make sure I'm not missing that out. That would suck if I'm missing all kinds of shit there, dude.
variation of your board, not skill points that are just flat additional skill points that you have to use this way. You can have the same amount of skill points, you can just have them in different iterations of the board. So maybe you're using a one-hander, and then on your other weapon set, you are using a two-hander, and so you want to be able to have those different iterations of the board. This is just something I've very commonly seen be confused. And why can't I spend my skill points? You can. You have to have just skill points available, and then you're going to split basically the timelines of those skill points, okay? But if you add skill points just as normal without clicking the weapon set, it applies to both, and it just looks standard. As a kind of a basic tip, but you might not know, these emotions that you get from doing delirium, like greed, ire, guilt, etc., you can right-click on these, and it actually opens up this menu. You can put an amulet in here, and you can mix up different emotions in order to gain benefits. Now, you might want to know, okay, well, what exactly are these benefits I am gaining, and how do I tell which ones I need for that? If you actually look on the tree here, and you hover over a notable, where you're like, okay, blinding flash looks good, and you hold Alt, it'll actually tell you what you need. So I need an ire, a guilt, and another ire, and you have to do them in that sequence. You can't go like ire, guilt. You need to go ire, guilt, ire, as the sequence of them does actually matter. So you can see which ones are rather expensive. Some of these are much more expensive than others, for instance, but this is highly important as these allocates are giving you a notable that is very often important to use for something that's on the other side of the tree. So maybe there's a node over here I really want to get, like days build up in duration. There's no way I'm going to be able to reach that as a warrior.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could do one or two or whatever, but like I'm scared to put that and waste it on my freaking amulet, man. Like, and probably one of the ones I want, I probably don't have the ire to do it, so I just kind of left that alone.
Without wasting a ton of points, so I could do that one. Or another good example is as a mage, maybe you're going up here and doing the whole lightning build, you're going way up there for lightning, but all the way down here, there's actually lightning nodes like lightning rod, which non-critical hits are lucky. If you don't know what lucky is, lucky basically means that it rolls it twice and takes the better of the two effects, sort of like advantage from D&D. Anyway, these are just some basic things I sort of wish I knew earlier, some mistakes I made, and some tips that I think might be helpful for people. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, or you can come by the live stream right now, as I will be live as of the posting of this video. You can find the link down below. It's twitch.tv/DarthMicrotransaction. Have a wonderful day. In order to...
Oh, well, there you go.